This brand new Jellymon deck has some really unique combos that you've never seen before for a particular blue deck, so let's get right into it. Okay, so for our first matchup that we're going to be facing off against today will be Imperial. A pretty good match right there overall, but quick glimpse on our hand. We were definitely going to mulligan that, especially we were going to go first. And we don't see a rookie, we don't see a follow-up play afterwards from that too. It only makes sense. We have a handful of level 5s and 6s and possibly just a tamer, so that's definitely not the way to go. So yeah, again, we're going first, so we're really trying to hope to see a rookie and some kind of follow-up play, which looks a little bit much better. Digivolve here into Jellymon, and then we'll just set up the brand new RB1 Kyo and sort of like pass their turn and see what they do. They come back with us with a Davis here. And for the Imperial matchup, they're still actually really strong because Imperial can make a lot of swings, which is actually way faster and still considered to be one of the fastest blue decks out there compared to all the others. Whereas Jellymon is a little bit more setup. You know, you actually need to want to get into your level 6 and let the level 6 do the work. And so what we can anticipate here is that we're going to take a lot of damage from the Imperial player in the early stages of the game, but that's okay because with Amphimon, the new RB1 Amphimon is actually really good at answering their board. So we want to be a little bit careful as much as we can. We don't really need to utilize the stunning effects of Thetismon either because it's just have nothing on board. So we want to just build in raising, make sure we can get access into Amphimon the next following turn, and we should be okay. Again, we are taking a lot of damage at this particular moment, but that's okay. That's just the nature of Imperial. There's nothing too much we can really do against the deck other than hope for security bombs. And but you know, we have a decent clapback for sure, which you guys will see in a moment. I think right here the opponent's just contemplating if they want to make one more swing or do they want to do an extending combo. Because if they do attack one more swing and then they do an extend combo afterwards, you can really establish a good board presence. And luckily here, they actually ran into Ice Wall, which Ice Wall is still really powerful card, which gives us a proper great setup to answer them back. Even though if they were going to go for like a wide board play, I think we would still be able to sort of like answer their board even so. So right here, our priority is to get into Amphimon. We're gonna try and, you know, gain a memory back by trashing a card from our hand from one of our inheritables and also trashing their sources, which is really important so that we can retain our turn right here. And we're gonna use Amphimon to actually swing at security. We have protection here. I do apologize in advance. Right here, I use Kyo to draw the new RB1, and I thought I gained a memory when I suspended, but turns out this entire time I've been playing this wrong because you actually gain a memory when you unsuspend the Kyo instead. So I do apologize for that, but I did make sure to double check all the gameplay, that it didn't really matter too much. It didn't really affect how the outcome of what my play was by having that one extra memory during that turn, because, you know, it doesn't change what I do here. As you guys can see, I still end up just playing a Jellymon and passing them to 3 and not doing too much. And that's why you guys can see with Amphimon, we just basically bottom deck their Paildramon, which is really strong and really fantastic. And with its when attacking, when digivolving effects are not once per turn, you can get rid of sources and then bottom deck their card is really good. And bottom decking, like I always say, one of the best removals because they can't access back to the level 5. So they have to rebuild right here and try to set up once again. And if they can find their pieces, we're just going to continue to pressure. Amphimon has the secondary effect where it comes to sort of like a pseudo jamming as well. So we're really trying to keep our hand size as small as we can, so then we can always use the Kyo to draw cards, toss away Jellymons, but also keeping a good, you know, amount of resources. So right here, they do Mega Def us, which is totally fine. But that means, you know, we get access to our Amphimon back anyways. Right here, I'm actually contemplating if I wanted to play the promo Amphimon or go back to the original RB1. I think the RB1 is just way stronger, way better, especially when it comes to this particular matchup. So we do go for the Thetismon warp play, which I love fantastic. You can just easily warp into a level 5 from a level 3 with Jellymon. Really cool stuff when it comes to the Ghost Game characters when they can warp like that. And then we go into Amphimon, and then we use this when digivolving effect just to bottom deck their Digimon with no sources, and again forcing them to sort of make a play here. Doesn't really look like they have the best situation. If they do find a level 5 here and they can do the DNA play, it's going to be all over for us because we can't really stop them. And but it looks like they're trying really hard to find it. It doesn't seem like they have it, because if they have it, they would have went into it. Either they're missing a Hammer Spark, or they're missing a level 4 or a level 5. They're missing one of the following pieces to get into it at this particular moment, which is really tough because now if they pass back to us, we're just going to clear the board once again, and we're just going to, you know, have a really easy game out there. They do end up playing a Hammer Spark, going to 3, and they do hard drop a Vmon, and it looks like, oh, there it goes. There is a level 5. I think mainly they actually want to see Paildramon instead, because if they see Paildramon, they can make 2 swings, and then we would basically just lose the game out there. And we don't really have strong security bombs other than Solrai, and maybe Solrai could just maybe get, yeah. So here they still end up DNAing just to go for the sake of play. Looks like they have no other choice but to go into Dino B. Also really unfortunate, Dino B isn't strong enough to swing over Amphimon, but furthermore, our Amphimon actually has a protection, 1-turn protection as well, which I believe should be all turns. So even if they swung over it, we're going to try and protect it. So here, back to us. It's really important that we still have to address this Dino Bmon. We're nowhere near lethal at the moment. We can swing and do all that. We're counting their sources. Thankfully, we do have a Jellymon in the back with a Puremon, so we're going to use that Inheritable to trash 1 source away from the Dino Bmon first, and then we can trash the rest of the 4 with Amphimon, and then potentially bottom deck their Digimon afterwards. Once again, I apologize with the Kyo play. I did gain a memory here where I shouldn't have, but again, upon double checking the play that I did follow up afterwards, it didn't really matter. It didn't change too much. We ran into Ice Wall, we lose 2 memory, but you know, we go back to 4, but really should be at 3 at this moment anyways, so we're still really fine. We're just going to continue to attack, continue to toss away as many Jellymon cards as we can that we don't really need at that particular moment. So we're loading our trash with Jellymon so we can bottom deck it, unsuspend, and also, you know, have its pseudo jamming protection from deletion as well, which is always great. So, you know, in theory, again, we should only be at 0 memory, but we just went for the Thetismon play, passing them back to 3 at Davis. So, you know, again, having that extra memory didn't really change too much, which is totally fine. And they don't really have an answer to our board, so we end up basically just taking them out. So even with the hybrid, it wasn't enough to finish the game. So we did take it like there very easily against the Imperial. So for the second game, we're going to be facing off against Jellymon, and this time we won Dairo again, so we're going to be going first. Looking at our opening hand, looks pretty good. Small glimpse, you can see there's a rookie, there's level 4, there's level 5, you know, we can build a stack fairly quickly and, you know, have a good cycle amount of cards, and the situation looks pretty good. Right here, you can kind of ignore that part. We're just kind of talking amongst ourselves and trying to guess the top cards of the deck, so they weren't really mulliganing there. We were just having a quick chat about it, but I believe here they are actually going to be mulligan and they're going to get ready to go. So with that being played, we're going to simple Digivolve into Jelly, go into Tesla Jelly, and then for 2 we pass them at 2. We're seeing quite a lot of Thetismons in our hand at this moment, and that's not really ideal because we want to see other cards other than that. We're loading up a lot of level 5s, and it's going to be kind of dangerous. For the Jellymon matchup, it's very similar to the Imperial. We have to be patient. Generally with Jellymon, you do want to be a bit more patient, set up, go into your level 6 with a very similar game plan overall, because especially when you push up too early against Jellymon, you can let them pop your stuff, and that's not the situation you want to be in. And you pop your stuff, you have to rebuild, and you're just losing value every single time. Hand doesn't look the greatest, as you guys can see either, but we do have a Kyo in play. They do end up wanting to go into this War Growl here, but looks like, you know, it wasn't the most ideal play. They were just trying to think and see what the better option is. They might want to sort of go for that combo afterwards without giving too much memory, but this situation looks good for us because we had 3 and then we can easily pass them back to 1. Just play a Kyo and then just sit still right there. And it's pretty funny because sometimes when it comes to facing against a Jellymon deck, we're both fairly reactive decks. Jellymon reacts quite well to, you know, bottom deck stuff. Jellymon reacts by, you know, having the opponent's Digimon on board so they can pop stuff. And I guess we're playing a little bit of a game of chicken here. We're just both trying to set up and wait for that opportunity to come by. Here we're really trying to look for that Amphimon, and surprise, surprise, with the blue memory boost, it was basically the next card there. There's really nothing else we could really play. We could Soul Ride them, which is not really worth it. So we're just gonna go into Amphimon, giving them a little bit more memory to work with actually, which is not really ideal, but I can't really see another line of play. I don't want to just Digimon to Lanamon and then let them pop stuff either and lose a memory tamer for that. So it has to be Amphimon, giving them extra memory right there, which is totally fine. But now they get to, you know, go ahead and attack into us first. They get to trash the security as well with Jellymon, gain a lot of advantages and memory just from that entire combo with the BT12 War Growlmon, getting rid of our security first. But that's the situation we actually don't mind being in. We don't have a lot of cards in our trash. And the other reason why we didn't want to go out too early with Amphimon was also because we want to make sure we have enough Jellymon cards in our trash to utilize and sort of like synergize together with their bottom decking effects or even like the protection effects, and then even with the unsuspending effects overall. They go into Jellymon X right here so they can unsuspend and swing one more. Even if they had a Crimson mode, if they want to go ultra aggressive, you know, they can only really trash one security and swing one security, and it will still be at one security too. Which is kind of nice because, you know, we are keeping a healthy amount inside our trash. We're not having a lot, which Jellymon usually likes to have a lot of. And funny enough, sometimes when they mill with the black Groundmon earlier, it kind of helps us a little bit because by milling, we get a little bit of Jellymons in our trash that we can utilize as resources, which is nice. Now we're going to move up. We're going to see how we can get rid of the Jellymon X. You know, we're trying to go rid of sources. Right here, we're just going to swing, trash 2 sources, trashing 2 Tesla Jellymons as well, getting rid of their bottom stuff, just like that. Suspending Kyo. Suspend, we get to trash sources as well from our inheritables, and they're not once per turn either, so very nice when attacking synergy. By unsuspending, we can do that again. Bottom decking stuff right there, so then we can make one more attack, trash the rest of the sources. Again, thanks to the Jellymon and Tesla Jellymon, when attacking, we can just trash sources without having to pitch away our own cards from our hand, which we can choose to do so anyways, but with Amphimon, easily, we just remove that Jellymon X antibody right here. And afterwards, we just hard play the Jellymon and then just try to set up and see what they can do and just, you know, have them answer our board and give them as little memory as possible, really would be the most ideal. That's why we pop the memory boost and then play the other RB1 Kyo, and then we just pass turn so then they can't pop off against us. And really crucial play right here, giving them as little as memory as possible, because again, they have a Gilmon in the back, they can potentially go into a Groundmon, they can even blitz with a War Groundmon, and then even go for another Jellymon play with the memory boost. They have enough tools to basically work with there. But it looks like they're not really finding their pieces exactly that they need at the moment. They feel like they may have another turn because they feel like, you know, they still have 3 security, we can only make so many attacks, but situation actually looks really good for us right here. We see lethal, we're just going to go for it. We're going to go with Amphimon with double checks here as well. And we do have a Blitz Omni in hand. We also have a Landomon. So we have more than enough swings to finish off the game right here. But again, we're just using Amphimon, trashing more stuff, Jellymon sources underneath to make sure we have a good supply. Again, apologize for the Kyo brand new play. I always thought it was you gain a memory when you suspend it, but it's not, it's when unsuspending, but it didn't really matter here because we just went for the Blitz Omni for game in the end anyways to finish it off. So yeah, as you guys can see, this deck is pretty crazy when it pops up without that combo, as we constantly just bottom deck our opponent's Digimon non-stop. And so if you guys want to stay tuned for the deck profile, be sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell, as it's going to be coming real soon. If you guys want to see more RB1 decks, if you haven't seen the Jellymon deck yet and seen it in action and everything, be sure to check it out right here as well. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you in the next video. And this is AVAULT signing